Amenities Committee, and I would like to introduce the Amenities Committee members. We have Mary Beth and Ann and Yvonne and Mark, and I don't see that Ryan is here today, but those have been the members of the Amenities Committee, and we have been working together on this for the last 60 days, and prior to that, Mary Beth sent out a survey that you all may have remembered about 2 years ago that asked everybody what it is that they were interested in. And basically, you know, the vision that we all had from the developer was that we would be sitting in a clubhouse enjoying a swimming pool at this site right now. But that didn't happen. You know, there hasn't been as much development as everybody had expected and so on. So we took the results of the amenities survey that Mary Beth said and found that pretty much people were interested in something, but they weren't really sure when they were interested in it. You know, whether there was a certain time period or a certain number of homes being built or what. And about 2 years ago, we found that people were getting pretty anxious because, you know, nothing had been done. So, Mary Beth, did I cover that well enough? Do you have anything to add?
I think there was a general overall comment that people wanted to have a plan.
Yes.
And maybe not do it all at once, but show some movement. There were some specific suggestions about we should have a certain number of homes or a certain percentage of development. There wasn't a huge amount of agreement on exactly what we wanted.
Yeah,
I would also add, Janet, that about 2 years ago when we met as a committee, we forwarded to the board a list of recommendations and some timing as well. I think that was something that we at least...
That's a good point. Is he gone? Have that grasshopper back?
Quick question, a general question, curiosity from my end. There are now 8 homes in the neighborhood. Mark's is the latest one he just built. Can I get a show of hands as to what the interest is for you guys? I mean, who is thinking of building, say, in the next 5 years? 1, 2, say in the next 10 years? 3, 4, 2 more. 5. Okay, so let's say 5 homes in the next 10 years is what we're looking at. Just folks who are here. Folks who are just considering this as investment and really don't have a desire to build. Anybody know? 1, 2, 3. Okay, that gives us some idea of where things are going, so thanks.
Well, the committee put together a plan that, you know, pretty much was that we decided that if we were going to do something with this beautiful site so that people could, you know, come and enjoy what's here and all, that minimally it would be a picnic shelter, and hopefully we would get some access to the waterfront here with Duke Energy. So
you can just walk down there, right?
yes, you can just walk down there. Yeah, sure. So we, as a board, hired a landscape architect, and I would like to turn this over then to Jeremy Rust, who's our landscape architect, and he has the plan here, and I'll be passing out copies to everyone. Jeremy, welcome to our...
Good afternoon. My name, as Janet said, is Jeremy Rust. I'm a landscape architect and landscape contractor here. My company is the Landscape Design Innovation Group, or LDIG is our acronym. We're based out of the southern Moore County area. We were asked to develop a plan for the Chalks Landing Property Owners Association, sort of based on the amenity committee's input and some feedback that they received from a survey that you all, many of you had participated in, as well as sort of our thoughts on after we visited the site and looked at the previous plans for the property. And so one of the focal points of the project was this this structure was to be a picnic pavilion. The dimensions here right now are shown at 24 foot by 70 feet long. And off to the side here, we were looking at having possibly like a future expansion. You could offer bathroom facilities, more permanent bathroom facilities here, maybe even some storage. So you're going to bring people here with a picnic pavilion. You can see one of the issues we have is, well, where does everybody park? So we've come off of the paved road, and right now sort of as a phased approach, or maybe a permanent approach, using a gravel parking lot that would not only provide access to the picnic shelter here, but also a playground, and even a canoe kayak storage area. And down towards the end of the parking lot, down at the point where you've got some topography happening, looking at doing an amphitheater, with the backdrop, of course, being that beautiful view of the lake that y'all have. There's an area here set aside for some yard games, you know, so anything from volleyball to badminton, anything that you play sort of at a picnic. And this area here, we're looking at setting it aside for septic system, pump tank, and septic tank, up to a septic field that was preliminarily designed in the previous set of plans for the property.
How many parking spaces are there?
I knew you were going to ask me that, and I hadn't counted them yet. I should have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 14. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Probably around 40 to 50.
Okay.
Yeah, 40 to 50 parking spaces, depending on how big the vehicles and that sort of thing.
Did you say no bathroom facility?
No. This little addition to that structure, so the initial structure that may be built, we'll look at the feasibility of that through permitting and that sort of thing, would be the picnic pavilion, which would be just this 24 by 70, but then coming off of there with a small bathroom facility.
Jeremy, the septic system is going to be located where?
Well,
the settlement
up this way is up along the out past the cul-de-sac. There was an area designed in a previous drawing that we received.
Well, that was just a rendering. That was just thoughts on a piece of paper.
That's just an idea of where it might work.
Because the lake, the cove over here has no circulation to it. So could you walk me through how the septic is going to?
Yeah,
do you have that detail?
Yeah, I'm not a soil scientist,
yeah,
so
but you're
I don't
gonna have
know
that all
what
checked out.
the feasibility. Yeah, this is just conceptual at this point. It may end up underneath where the yard games go. You know, we haven't studied that to that level of detail.
Right, just pointing out we need to be cautious about the two coves that come up on either side, to make sure that we don't create a problem 5 or 6 years down the road with the septic system draining into the place we're going to swim or put kayaks in. So if you're going to pump it, I might suggest it be pumped either way up, or there's some alternative put to that, because if you drain nasty material into either of those coves, it would become a problem very quickly, I believe.
Yeah, this would go through lots of engineering, and the state health department through your county office
but
would
this
handle
is everyone's first touch on it, so I just want to put that out to make sure everybody thinks about that also.
Yeah,
thank you.
Looks good.
Does anybody else have any questions? Janet, is there anything else you'd like me to address?
Well, we're very excited to see something on paper, you know, as far as an amenities plan. And the committee has discussed the pros and cons of doing this as one project, you know, get it all done and you know, taken care of, or doing it in a phase type of a plan. So we're anxious to have you enter into discussion about, you know, what it is you like about the plan, what it is that the plan might not include that you always had in your vision, or you know, what is your wish list. So this is, you know, our first shot at you know, addressing what this area can be for our community, and we'd like to get your discussion generated and your feedback and all as far as that goes. Yes, sir.
A couple of questions. What is the likelihood of Duke Energy entering into negotiations there to give access to the water? Is that something they do regularly? To
No.
properties along?
Duke
And-
Energy is not a nice neighbor.
Okay. And the second would be, once the direction is decided, would the CAS personnel be the ones that would lead it, with, say, Jeremy or someone in that area?
I'm sorry, I didn't.
Is the CAS group, would they be the lead on handling any contract?
No, the CAS group is the ones that do the financial management. We would be putting this out for a contractor's bid. That would be something that the amenities committee would work on.
Gotcha.
CAS would be the ones that would cut the checks along the way.
Yeah, we've only hired CAS to do our billing, collections, and bookkeeping.
Excellent.
Now, they offer a wide range of services for additional fees.
Sure.
But at this point, this is what they've been hired to do.
Makes sense. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
I understand there wouldn't be any access to the individual lots, but has anybody approached Duke Power about community access?
Yes.
I guess everyone always certain people envision this as being a boat ramp or a launch, and this being more of a very natural area and not necessarily a great big parking lot.
We have approached Duke, and actually Jeremy's Plan A was sent to Duke Energy, to the shoreline management for Blewett Falls Lake, and they said that this is a FERC-regulated lake and it was intended not to be developed. One of our issues is if you walk down on this side, there's a piece of asphalt and some concrete, out there. And so...
Yeah, this used to be the Patrolman's Landing, so this always was a landing.
Right. And if you have more history on that, we might need to go to the attorneys with that information and, see what we can do with it. That is one option, about the Patrolman's Point, and that was what it was always used for. The other one is, with the erosion of the landscape here, potentially having riparian rights. Did I say that? Yeah, say that right. That might be something else that we would investigate. Basically, we have placed the building. You can see where these concrete blocks are here and at the other end there, down here on either end. That is about what 30 by 60 looks like. If you were going to envision it. And we tried to place it on this ground so that if we got the access from Duke down the road, either through either one of those avenues, you'd be able to drive down this way to access this, or drive all the way down this way to back up. So putting the building where you see these concrete blocks would not interfere. We could go down here and possibly enter this way, or go all the way down this way and enter that way. So this
So this is
Place
designed
land-
with future in mind if it were ever to become available.
right, there's nobody that wants the water rights more than the people that are living here. And so if that was something that we could get, we didn't want to block that particular progress, which this plan takes into consideration.
Diana,
Yes, Yvonne.
just if you might enter, if you have, we're actively pursuing information on the Patrolman's Point aspect of it. That's in discussion. We're seeking any information we can on that and ways to approach ways to gain that access. So if you have information, know people that have, know.
Just rumors from
Well,
being a kid and
yes.
coming up here all my life. I mean, I know it was always there.
Exactly, and that's what we've encountered. We've spoken.
There was a boat landing.
Yeah, I mean, you can walk down there. There is some remnants of asphalt.
Oh, yeah.
And
You got some picture in the water.
There was a
today,
dock
too.
there. I mean, it was.
We've spoken with Mr. Chalk, but we are, as a committee, we're actively looking into it, but that's not anything that's been moved out. We're doing everything we can, but as Janet was saying, but I just want to make sure that we weren't overlooking an opportunity to gather any information about that.
And if you have any pictures that there was ever a dock down there, you know, if we need to go rummaging through some grandmother's attic, we'll be happy to do it. But we are looking for that type of information.
I don't know how we would prove it to that dock.
Well, Duke Energy said that that's a road.
No, we didn't.
Yes, they did. So,
To where
There's a
exactly?
dock right there.
well, if
We have to prove that.
There are still pylons in the water.
there aren't any pylons in the
There
water.
are, I can go stand on
Yeah.
one.
There is?
If they were there, if what he's
They're
saying is
still
true,
there.
which I totally believe him, they wouldn't have pulled them out. They're
I
still
can go
waiting.
stand
Oh, there are, okay.
We swim here every summer. We know
Okay.
Now, you don't know.
it. Right,
Somebody could have cleaned them out.
those poles don't go away, I'm telling
Either
you.
way,
Yeah.
in your discussions,
They
or
only
your
like gate
friends,
talk.
or however, if you should come across, or someone knows the talk.
I say we go make him stand on one right now.
Absolutely.
I second that. You got a dollar, bet a can.
Well, we're going to keep the discussion going, but I appreciate your input to that, and you know would like to know more. Sir, after this woman, please.
Are there still ideas of this eventually evolving into the pool and building that they had originally talked about?
Not in our lifetime. You know, probably the truth of the matter is that, you know, we would need to have enough homes here that, you know, that you would be paying for security and all of that kind of thing before you would have the pool and clubhouse as the original developer had mentioned. So, you know, we're sort of looking at what's the next 20 years going to look like, and we're hoping that this would serve for the next 20 years, and then the next generation would be, you know, considering, you know, the developments after that.
I mean, I love a pool, but the maintenance is outrageous, absolutely outrageous. I mean, you would need someone working here, taking care of the pool.
Now, 2 years ago, maybe 3, I understood that the money for the boathouse was released to us, is that right?
Yes,
It's in the bank.
yes,
How much is it?
$400,000.
And that's not reflected on any of these documents.
Should be in the asset.
Yeah, it's part of our cash balance.
Yes. It is part of the balance.
So do we think that this cost is going to be within that 400,000?
The answer to that is yes.
I couldn't hear the question.
She asked if, do we anticipate that the ballpark figures on this is going to be within that $400,000? And the, you know, best guess is that yes, it will come in under the
What's
$400,000.
the best guess cost on that?
About $300,000.
No septic, no pool?
No pool. It does include the septic.
And there's already a well up.
Yeah, the septic is located right here, and the well is on up the road here on this arm. There's a property right here, lot 25, I think, comes down right outside of the Watson Way, but on this side it goes up almost 2 lots. And you can see the well has already been drilled, it's, you know, already in place.
Now, we don't have a septic.
No, there is not a septic
We have
here.
a septic field or a site for a septic field, but no septic.
Right, with the same that we have a plan for the shelter, we have a plan for the placement of the septic. Yes, sir.
You mentioned that the board has had some discussion about pros and cons of doing it, you know, all at once or in stages. Can you share some of those pros and cons that you came up with?
Don't y'all have the options that we talked about?
Well, I mean, obviously if you do it at once, it's cheaper, right? I mean, piecemealing it obviously is going to cost you more, so that's definitely a pro. If you do one of the things I think, and I'm speaking for Janet here, one of the things we considered was we didn't want to go crazy on stuff, so we kind of whittled it down to the most important things. There were some surveys done. We looked at, you know, making sure it was not going to be vandalism was a big concern, right? There are only 8 homes in the neighborhood. That's why I asked for a show of hands. I don't see us going 13 homes in the next 2 years or anything like that. So it's going to be slow build out. So that was a big concern. So we don't want to have too much infrastructure in the ground. And you're talking about maintenance and insurance and vandalism and all that stuff. So Right. So with that said, you know, you want to make it long lasting. Obviously, if you do it at one shot, it's gonna be cheaper. But those are the discussions we're having right now. We haven't gone out to bid. We don't have any firm numbers. These are all right now. So it's all kind of very preliminary.
Like if we ever thought we could
I need to talk to one.
What's that?
I was just interested in, the general mindset and what the...
Okay. I went to the town of Rockingham, and there aren't enough of these. These are what it is that the sales rep left with us. But, you know, there is a website, and I'm asking that you all share. If you will turn inside the blue page, if you flop there's one there, Mr. Hines, there's one right there on the table. If you all want to gather around, if you flop over the blue page, you'll come to the next page. It's called the Raleigh 1 and 2. This structure of the Raleigh shelter is at Hitchcock Creek Park down in the town of Rockingham. We have gotten a bid on this particular shelter, so you can see, you know, what it looks like. One of the things that's so beautiful about this shelter is the roof line. And the underside of it that is all wooden. You know, it's a very beautiful, nice thing. They have about a 20 by 36 shelter down at Hitchcock Creek. And in talking with the guy, the city planner, I think he is, he's the one that directed me to this particular... Somebody else needs to see this?